My name's Derrek Wilson. My my name's Derrek Wilson. My pronouns are he, him, and my specialization is environmental and natural resource policy. Some other things that are important about me is I like to get outside and trail run, climb, hike. Also love playing sports and connecting with friends over sports like basketball and tennis. And then I'm just really passionate about the environment. That's why I'm here. So yeah, MENV, the Master of Environment program really stood out to me because I wanted to specialize in environmental policy. I previously had thought I wanted to make change in the environmental realm through law and going to law school. That changed. I realized that is a terrible route to go because it is very difficult, and law school is also not fun. So I was looking for different programs, and the Masters of Environment program stuck out, not only because it's in Boulder, which is an amazing place to be and I wanted to be here, but also because the specialization, the environmental and natural resource policy specialization, really could prepare me to make a difference in the policy world, and it really dives in on the issues I care about, like public lands, water, and climate change. Yeah, the environmental policy specialization intrigued me just because I had the interest in policy. I knew I wanted to do policy. So I will say I was kind of looking at the renewable and sustainable energy policy as well, because I know energy is, clean energy is the way that we stop climate change. But I ultimately ended up in policy because I want to be able to hold policy levers throughout my career and understand where change can be made and how I can make it and be a part of that change. And so I hope during my career that this program will allow me to not only make connections in the policy space, but produce or give me skills that I can use to be an effective change maker, and just be effective in the policy world. Yeah, there's been a few. I think just starting in the program, there's just so much excitement with everybody coming together, so many people from different backgrounds that have very similar interests. It was just a really unique community that we started to build. And I think that was a defining moment because I just realized how important the community aspect is. I always thought of community as important, but it didn't become salient until this program started. And so I've become very invested in the community and building community, and trying to, make connections with everybody around me as much as possible. So yeah, just I guess it's hard to pinpoint that on a moment, but the community broadly has just been such a supportive and important aspect of the program. Another important moment was just studying policy in grad school gave me the opportunity to become the director of policy for a small nonprofit in Utah. And it's a group I had worked with before, but because of my knowledge and because of the classes I had taken, I was able to jump into this position, and I worked with legislators in Utah, and we were able to make good changes on bills that will produce good conservation outcomes for places that I grew up recreating in and loving. So again, hard to pinpoint, but there was a moment where I was able to leverage my position in this program to make change somewhere I care about. And then I think another big moment was the beginning of Capstone. Obviously this program is really heavily based on your capstone project, and a lot of my professional connections will come from there as well. I want to work on state policy in the West, and so I chose a capstone project that is working with the state agency. And so this the capstone, I get to dive in on what other states and cities are doing for extreme heat specifically. And so that is just really exciting because not only do I get to learn what other places are doing and start developing better research skills around policy and policy implementation, but I'm also going to be engaging with policymakers from other states as well as from Colorado. And so I get to build a professional network and also just pick their brains on what they did to get where they are. And so it's a very much skills-based project that is definitely going to augment my professional network. Like I said previously, I'm really big into building community, and that's become something that's really important to me. So I like to plan events and bring people together. That's one of the things I've become really passionate about. I'm also somebody who likes to get after it and go on big runs, and I'm currently signed up for a race over the summer, and I'll do a couple other big trail runs. So that's something that's really important to me, that resets me and allows me to, it reminds me as I'm out in nature, like what I'm working for, why I want to protect the things that I want to protect. And it's just always good to be outside too. And so other than that, I don't know if I think that's my answer. Yeah. Within the program, I think there's a few really solid places of support. First is just the specialization lead. They are such a good resource. They know so much. They have so many professional connections. And so they are just step number one when I need support, just because they know the program, know my professional goals. They know who they can connect me with if I'm having an issue, whether that's in the program or it's an issue that's more outside of the program. They can connect me to the resources I need. And then secondary to that, again, the community here. I've made a lot of really good friends that I can go to, and especially with more personal issues, I can find them and they can support me. And really, I feel very comfortable with the vast majority of the community here going to them with any issues I have. So, I'd say the support network here is strong, and I think part of that strength is that a lot of us have been engaged in creating that strong community. So that has been what has made it as strong as it is. So post-capstone, like I was mentioning, I want to work on state level policy. I'm kind of torn between air pollution and water, and basically how climate change interacts with either of those. I do want to stay in the West because I love the mountains and I don't want to leave. And I also hate humidity, so DC is out of the picture, maybe. But yeah, I think next steps, after the program, I'm really going to be looking at either working for a state agency or heavy-hitting advocacy groups that do, on the ground work with building communities, as well as, supporting communities' voices in what their conservation goals are. And then, that looks like, me being able to take the skills I've learned from anything from policy analysis to stakeholder engagement, to be able to bridge gaps, bridge communities, and help policymakers and lawmakers understand what's needed at the community level, as well as what we need to stop climate change and other massive environmental issues, and make sure that those things are coming together to meet and not butt heads like they often do because of the lack of communication. Be engaged. I think you'll get the most out of this program by engaging with the community, going to events, trying to find somewhere that you can improve the Masters of Environment program. That has made all the difference. It shows, the faculty in the program that you care, and that really goes a long way in relationship building, which faculty don't play favorites, but if you are always there, then they'll remember your name when somebody asks, hey, I need somebody, who can you give me? So I think being really engaged in the program is one of my biggest pieces of advice. And then also just find something that you're passionate about, where you're passionate about it, and plug into it. Being a graduate student in the Masters of Environment program gives you some weight. You can go start making change while you're in school.